The Mike Leach situation has unfolded rapidly at Texas Tech, with the university deciding to dismiss him as a head coach. We've heard from several different entities, but have yet to hear directly from Mike Leach himself until now. Joining us from Crested Butte, Colorado, is the former head coach of the Red Raiders. Mike, I want to start with your description of the attitude of Adam James while he was a player for you.
I think the biggest thing is I think he's lazy. I think that there's a sense of entitlement, and really this isn't an independent thought on my part because it's pretty well documented in a number of statements by teammates and both of his position coaches, and really a guy that we could never get to work hard and wanted to fall back on his father anytime he wasn't playing. And so, you had Craig meddling in things all the time, and you had Adam that didn't want to listen to his coaches and hold up his end as far as effort out there on the field. So then ultimately it became, very disturbing to the Jameses that he wasn't playing more, which is a difficult situation.
You said that Craig James was meddling. How do you define meddling?
Well, I would say when you call coaches, when you call me, you call his position coaches, both of them. You call other administrators on campus, and or you come to practices and want to have constant discussions on your son and their playing time, and who should be playing ahead of who and things of that nature. And then you get calls from other people that he's discussed things with outside the program, and they let you in on well, you ought to know that he's saying this, and ultimately he doesn't, and then at some point I said, well, we're not going to return any more of the phone calls. We have to, this has to be handled like any other parent. Craig James required more time than all of the other parents combined. One thing that's really obvious, and I don't really think that down deep in their heart, in the back of their mind, anybody truly believes that me or anybody involved in my program sat around and said, let's see, who should we rip off? Who should we cheat as far as how much we let them play? And then as you're sifting through the roster, I don't think any of us said, okay, how about the richest kid whose father's got the biggest microphone in front of his face the most constantly? Let's rip him off. Let's not treat him fairly. Let's do things unfair to him just because.
What was your reaction when you found out that Adam James was diagnosed with a concussion?
My reaction was, well, he's got a concussion. Okay, well, what are the problems with a concussion? Well, first of all, you don't want to overexert yourself. Second of all, you're light sensitive. And third of all, you don't want to get hit again to exacerbate the situation. You don't want to get hit by a ball, a flying body, a golf cart, or whatever the case may be, and you need to be hydrated. And we wanted him close to the football field because he's a team member, and we wanted him to be around our teammates, but we wanted him out of the light. And one thing, Adam was walking around, and this is kind of indicative of his attitude. He came out on the field. He was not dressed in school gear like the other players and everybody else involved. Had a hat on backwards, had his sunglasses on, and walked slowly around the field. And I said, why does he have sunglasses on? They said, well, he's sensitive to light because he had a concussion. I said, well, put him somewhere out of the light.
But why did you make the decision where Adam James should go as opposed to the trainer?
I didn't. I said, find someplace dark. And one place was as good as the next, and that was close to the field. And plus it had the ice machine. So
what did you do when you found out that the James had complained about Adam's treatment?
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised because of his attitude 2 days before. I wasn't surprised because I knew that Craig had already talked to upper administrators. I wasn't surprised because Craig had already at one time told me about meeting with our chancellor and getting involved in business deals and things like that. And I wasn't surprised because they were dissatisfied, and quite honestly, Adam somewhat suggested 2 days prior to that, we're not doing our job as coaches, and it had that element of hostility which that's part of why we were really careful. and conscious of where he went and what he did. And in addition, in addition, we had a trainer outside that checked in on him every 15 minutes.
Okay, what did Texas Tech then do after you say you weren't surprised that they had complained? What did Texas Tech want you to do to rectify the situation?
I was never presented with anything. The only thing I was ever presented with from Texas Tech was in a meeting. And this was with the president and the AD. In a meeting, basically there was a bunch of statements on, players are to be treated this way, that way, and the other way, which I agreed with for the most part. And then the other was failure to do that, you can be penalized the following ways. They wanted me to sign the paper, and I saw no reason to sign it. I mean, I don't mind. You can put it in my file. You can do whatever you want. But nothing about my contract or America would compel me to sign it. Everybody, me and everybody in my program is completely innocent of anything. And I'm not going to sign anything that even gives the impression that there may be some wrongdoing when there's not. The only things that were thrown around to me was that we've had a complaint. Well, there's complaints on people all the time. We've had a complaint. And but I said, well, what law did I violate? Well, there wasn't an answer. What policy did I violate? There wasn't an answer. What have I been told to do that I violated? There wasn't an answer. And then from there they started throwing about the term insubordination. I said, well, what was insubordinate? What in your view is insubordinate? And really no answers there.
I've read the memos, and for those who haven't read them, most of them from a prominent Texas Tech booster to the Chancellor, Kent Hand, some other memos involved in there as well. Mike, if you feel like that there were people in the administration or influential people outside of it working against you, what do you think their motivation was?
I'm not sure. I suspect that whether they're tired of me, they want a different guy. Sometimes it comes down to, Spike Dykes had a great quote. Spike Dykes one time, he says, as head coach, your popularity goes down 10% each year. He says, I've been here 13 years, you do the math. And now, obviously, outside some of these people, I'm very popular, and that's clear. And with the masses of people at the courtroom and around Lubbock and flags and the rest. And I really appreciate that. And I can't say enough about these fans, their support, and their devotion to what we've done together with this team over the last 10 years. I honestly don't know. I think it's probably has something to do with power and control. And I'll tell you the other thing I think it has to do with is I think they don't want to pay the money. I think last year they didn't want to pay the money, and then based on popular opinion and public pressure and things like that, they got in a position where to save face, they had to give me a competitive contract, which they did. And then I think whether it's for financial reasons or what, they've decided to not follow through, and now essentially they're trying to steal the money.
What would you do differently, Mike, if you had this to do over again, what would you do differently?
I can't think of a great deal that I'd do differently. I think, there's always hindsight, but you wake up every day, you do the very best you can, and you be honest with everybody. And that's the best you can do. Do the best you can. And I don't have a lot of regrets. I go out and I do the best I can, and maybe there's a mistake or something like that, but you do the best you can. And if that was your best, then just do your best again and let the rest take care of itself.